In this video I will paint a Stormcast Eternal. My way. Whatever that means. I'm Alex, welcome to Winter of Miniatures. Now I like the dark side, the evil guys, the antagonists. I'm not that into Age of Sigmar lore, but the Stormcast Eternal seems like the good guys, right? Slayers of evil. Brightly colored. Most Stormcast I've seen are painted that way, but I'm convinced that they would look very cool in a darker color scheme. So today I will do exactly that. Maybe. Probably. And paint the Stormcast miniature my way. I've only painted one Stormcast Eternal before, and I did a similar thing back then. It was Yndrasta, but with a twist. A chaos twist. Today it will be this guy. The Lord Lord Terminate. The dude with the big axe. This was the first model I assembled from the Skaventide box set, and it came together quite easily. I think the Stormcast models look alright. They are a bit too big, and with this guy it looks like they are still growing. It's a big boy.
That's what she said.
I'm not a fan of their helmets or face masks or whatever they have, and we'll swap that for a Chaos helmet. And the pointy neck support thing here has to go as well. It was very easy to cut that off. I planned to fill the gaps with more fur, but I didn't need to in the end. What remained after the neck guard was removed looked just fine. With all the pieces cleaned, it's time to put this guy together. Using glue. I love this pose, and at first I envisioned a executioner covered in blood, painted to fit with my Chaos Warriors. But let's face it, he's too big.
Wow, that is really hard. You really think you can go all day long? Well, you always left me satisfied and smiling, so... That's what she said!
Michael, please. Please.
So at this point I really didn't know what to do, but I had an idea of doing some OSL with the axe being on fire or something. So after the black primer I did a white zenithal and also a undercoat for the OSL from the axe. Whoops! Starting with the easiest part, the cloak. Just covering it here with a thin layer of dark sea grey. With some steel grey added to the dark sea grey, I start to build up some highlights. I simply did this a couple of times, adding more and more steel grey, building it up until I was happy with the result. And if you cut that footage up into small pieces and play some upbeat music, it looks like that's very easy and takes no time at all. Then I began with the armor, and I thought, purple. That is the sneakiest color, so no one will expect that. So I painted the armor purple. I tested adding some steel grey to the purple, making some kind of lavender color, and tried to highlight the armor with that, but I didn't like it. So I decided to try gold instead. I started with the shoulder pad because I knew I wanted that gold, and I liked the result. The gold with the purple undertones was really cool, so I decided to do that for the entire armor. This guy has bought a lot of stuff and he saves all his receipts, so let's paint them in a fitting receipt color. So what about the axe handle? Green is cool, and it looks cool with orange OSL, so let's go with that. So, it was then time to ruin this mini by starting to spray it with yellow and orange. At first it looked cool, but you have to be careful. I ended up overdoing it with too much overspray, so I later had a hard time getting the axe to look bright enough for the amount of light it was spreading around it. The solution would be to tone the orange back a bit around the axe, but that is extremely time consuming as you have to blend the colors in perfectly, or completely repaint, and then respray it. And I just wasn't committed to this miniature enough to be bothered. So I fiddled with the axe a bit, trying to make it look brighter, but it didn't look good, so I painted the last details and called it a day. When the mini was complete, I was somewhat satisfied. It looked cool, but the OSL looks wrong. It doesn't look like the axe is glowing, and it is because of the reasons stated before. The axe itself is not bright enough to spread all that light. Well, you don't succeed every time. For comparison, here is an OSL effect that looks a bit better. So what do you think about the Chaos Eternal? Does he look evil? Let me know in the comments. Thank you for watching, have a good one, and I'll see you soon.